All right, when inserting values into a table, the shortcut doesn't always work. So if you describe, let's say, cars. Now what I did was I deleted everything out of the cars table. No rows selected. So let's say I want to insert this information again. Now when we inserted the information, you're going to do insert into table name, values, and that's the shortcut. We could just put the 4 values in because, after all, there are 4 columns. The long way is to say insert into cars, parentheses, put make, comma, model, comma, color, price, and then put the word values, and then put the values in. So as you can see, the column headings are here based on the description of the table cars, and then you have to put it in. But we found out that we can actually use a shortcut that says we can bypass all the table names, column names, put the word values, and then put the information here. Honda Civic Blue, $8,000. So we can say Honda, comma, Civic, comma, Blue, comma, and 8,000. Now, if we select star from cars, we see the value, we see the information. The one thing we have to talk about is why this shortcut works. The reason why the shortcut works and you do not have to put all the column headings first and then the word values and then all the data is because we're inputting values in every single column. Now, like I said earlier, it's easier to show through examples than try to explain it. Let's say hypothetically, we want to input Toyota Corolla green, but we don't have a price yet. We're going to put in a Toyota Corolla in green. So let's put in Toyota Corolla in green. So we're going to say insert, well, let's clear the screen first. Describe cars. So we're going to say insert into cars. And the long way, of course, is to put all the columns, but we're not going to do the long way. We're going to take the shortcut. Values, parentheses. We're going to say Toyota Corolla and green, but we don't have the price yet. So we're just going to close this parentheses and hit enter, and the error message pops up that says not enough values. Again, the reason why you can do the shortcut by putting values early in the select statement and not labeling all the columns is because you were putting all the column values in. If you do not put all the column values in, then you can't use the shortcut. So what would we do then? The question is, how would we put information into a table if we only have 3 column values? We have the make, the model, the color, but we don't have the price yet. Does that mean that we can't input anything? No, you can still input everything, but you have to do it the long way, meaning you have to do it insert into table name, which is cars, but instead of putting the word values, we have to do it the long way. What do we have? Well, we have the make, we have the model, and we have the color. We don't have the price yet, so we can't put price. So we're going to do color. Values, and then we're going to put in the values we put earlier. Toyota, Corolla, and green. Now look what happens. 1 row created. Select star from cars. Notice there's no price. We have Toyota, Corolla, green, but no price. So the only reason why we can use a shortcut is because we had all the column headings from the description screen. We had all those values being represented. Here we only have 3 values represented out of all the columns in the table. There's 4 columns, but we only have 3 values. That's why we have to put the column names here. All right, let's do that again. Let's say we had Ford Explorer and we didn't have the color or we didn't have the price. So all we're going to do is input Ford Explorer under make and model. Let's clear screen. Select star from cars, describe cars. So we're going to input just the make and model, but we don't have the color or the price of the Ford Explorer. So it's going to be insert into cars, make, model, values, Ford Explorer, close, one row created. Select star from cars, Ford Explorer, no color, no price. Toyota Corolla, color, but no price. All right, let's do another shortcut to input data. So we have a table called auto. It's make, model, price, and it has no data in it. Select star from auto, and let's say we want to populate a bunch of data into this table. The data is here. We want to put in all these cars, all these models for the cars, and these are the prices. So let's go over what we know so far. One way to do it is you can say insert into table name, insert into auto, then you can put the column names, make, model, price, and then values, and then put in the first thing we see. That was a Honda. The second value for model was Civic for $8,000. We can do Civic 8,000, semicolon, close. One row created. Now pay attention here. If I do a select star from auto, obviously we have one line item. The second thing we learned was a second shortcut where we don't even have to put the column names as long as we input the values with every column name represented in the values. So the second thing to do was this. The next item was Toyota Corolla for 8,100. Toyota Corolla for 8,100. The next thing we learned was insert into auto and then just put values. It was Toyota Corolla and then 8,100. That was the second shortcut we learned. So if we do a select star from auto, now we have two rows. But what if there is an easier way to input rows into a table? So far we input these two rows already, but what if we had like many rows to input and we wanted to input them even quicker, and not only quicker but easier? Well, I want to show you how to use the ampersand. The syntax is the same. Insert into table name values. Insert into table name values. And as you can see here, insert into table name, and we did the long way, and then values. We did insert into table name and then values. This one says insert into table name values, but instead of putting the actual values, all you're going to do is you're going to put quotes, ampersand, and the name of the column, comma. And then the second column is going to be quotes, ampersand, the name of the column, and then comma. And same thing, for however many columns you have in the table, you have to represent it in the value section. So there are only two rules really. You must have all columns in the insert syntax. So if the table, in our case, if you describe auto, it has 3 columns, you have to have all 3 columns in this specific syntax surrounded by quotes with ampersand. And the other rule is number columns don't need quotes. So if this was a price column, if this was called price, you don't need the quotes. All right. So let me show you what it looks like when you do this. So we have all these, we have these remaining tables to do. So we have these remaining rows to input into this table. So let's see. We're going to do insert into table name, auto, values, parentheses, and we're going to say ampersand, make, end quote, comma, space. Column number 2, start with quote, ampersand, model, end quote, comma, space. Start column number 3, quote, ampersand. But we don't really need quote because price is a number. So, but just for the sake of showing this lesson, we'll do quotes. But technically, since price is a number, you don't need quote. You can do just like that and hit enter. But let's just get into the habit of using quotes. Watch what happens when I hit enter. Oh, sorry, semicolon, enter. Enter value for make. Insert into table name values, and because we put the ampersand in front of each column, it says enter value for make. So we're going to do next Ford Explorer for 9,500. So the make is Ford. Remember, Ford Explorer 9,500. So I'm going to put Ford, and when I hit enter, it automatically says enter value for model. That's Explorer, enter, and enter value for price, 9,500, enter. One row created. All right. So what if we wanted to do that again? For a Honda CRV for 7,400. Honda CRV for 7,400. Well, do we have to type all of this over again? No, you can just hit the up arrow, enter, and it says, what's the value for make? Honda. Model, CRV. And what was the price? 7,400. Enter. As you can see, one row created. Now I'm going to do select star from auto. Now we have 4 rows. The first 2 rows were entered the way we learned already. These 2 rows were entered with the shortcut, the shorter shortcut. So let's see what the next one is. Honda Passport for 3,300. So I'm going to hit the up arrow, enter, Honda Passport 3,300, enter. One row created. So I'm going to hit up a few times, and let's enter the next row. The next row, Ford Focus for 9,800. Ford Focus 9,800. One row created. Do it a couple more times here. And we have a Ford Mustang for 5,800. Ford Mustang 5,800. One row created. And we'll do it one more time. Enter. So enter value for make. Well, let's see what table we want. We want a Toyota Camry. A Toyota Camry for 2,200. So make is Toyota. Camry is the model. And the price, I believe, was 3,800, I said. 3,800. One row created. All right. So look at the syntax. It says old and new. Old, it says this is what you typed in as the syntax. And new says because you put the ampersand and based on what you typed in on each command prompt, this is technically the values that were used. All right. So let's do select star from auto. And as you can see, the data is there. So once again, this is just a shorter shortcut of how to insert rows into a table.